Good day, everyone. I am Paul Keeley from Ekobuilt. We are providers of affordable passive house, sustainable home building solutions right across Canada and the United States. We are passionate about passive house, and today we're going to talk about debunking the popular myth of overheating in a passive house. It's all about reducing the heating and cooling demand down to a practical and economic minimum so that we can enjoy a clean, healthy interior environment. Okay, so let's get into it. We're standing in an attached garage to this passive house. This wall is the same way a conventional code-built home gets built. And let's look at this with respect to infiltrating heat in the summertime. Let's say there's no insulation in this wall. Okay, heat is naturally going to mitigate itself very easily to the inside of the home. If it's 30 degrees outside, it's going to be 30 degrees inside the home. Okay, if the home gets built properly with insulation as building code requires, this wall will get insulated to R22 insulation. There'll be a vapor barrier put on the inside of the home, and that insulation will reduce the effective transfer of heat from the outside to the inside environment. Now, when it comes down to it, conventional wall assembly, R22 in the wall, very leaky building envelopes as well. A lot of that heat is going to come in through the insulation. Naturally, it's going to come also in through the air leakage of the house, air infiltration, and it will also come through the thermal bridge that these 2x6s allow. So, a standard house, 2x6 frame, every 16-inch center, it's approximately 15% of the entire wall cavity. Okay, so a lot of heat gets transferred through these studs, a lot of heat gets transferred through the minimum amount of insulation, and a lot of heat gets transferred through the air infiltration of a general leaky house when it's compared to passive home. So, the point is any house has the potential to overheat in the inside if the outside environment is very hot. How do we deal with that? We cool the interior. Conventional homes would require a lot of cooling to mitigate all this infiltrating heat in the summertime. Let's go compare how that is done differently in a passive house. Okay, so moving on to our passive wall. Look at how the passive wall gets built. There's an interior wall, there's an exterior wall. There's a lot of insulation between the double wall, a total of R75, about 3.5 times the level of insulation compared to a code-built home. There's a high degree of air tightness too. 0.6 air changes per hour, again, is the standard for a passive home, compared to your code-built home, which could be anywhere from 3 to 10 air changes per hour. That's why all that heat easily comes inside. But R75 in these walls, very airtight and protected for all of those unnecessary, unwanted thermal bridges. Okay, as soon as you have two walls, inside wall, outside wall, you effectively eliminate all thermal bridging. So this wall assembly operates as a thermos. As a result, it has really good qualities for heat retention from the heating system on the inside of the home in the winter. Also has great qualities for keeping all of that heat outside of the house in the summertime. So again, passive house is not a zero heating, zero cooling standard. Okay, in the summertime, in a conventional building, we just showed you that wall, all that heat coming in through thermal bridge, air leakage, minimal insulation. Air conditioners run approximately 10, 12, 16 hours a day, maybe 24 hours a day. Okay, we know for a fact that cooling load is minimized in a passive home, about 90%. Hot summer day outside, the air conditioner is going to be on for minimum 2 hours, 3 hours a day. So for those of you who are watching that might think a passive house guarantees overheats, we have the big ass windows and that's responsible for overheating in the summertime. My answer would be, you simply don't live in a passive home. Sometimes you have to live it to experience it. I recommend just doing a little bit of research. I'm going to explain to you why and how this works. So let me educate everyone that doesn't want to do that research. Okay, windows in that southern wall, we're in the northern hemisphere, so the windows go in the south. We put anywhere from 30 to 40% of glass in that southern wall, whatever the design requires to be optimized passive. Why is this a good thing? In the wintertime, the sun is at a very low angle. All that free energy comes into the building, reduces about half of the heating demand on the heating system. That's a very good thing. Okay, and we always forget, not often, but always forget that the sun in the summertime is at a very steep angle. It's at a very steep angle in the south. Practically zero sunlight comes through those windows in the summer. I live in a passive home, and the only time I've remotely experienced overheating is when 50 or 60 people had been in the house during a summertime open house. What do? You crack a freaking window, man. Turn on the air conditioner. It's common sense, man. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed it. Paul Keeley, founder of Ekobuilt, provider of affordable, sustainable, passive house anywhere and all across the United States and Canada. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more.